Okay, so my book, let me start off by saying that what it is not. It is not a self-help book or a motivational book. So this is a book that is a thought provoker or an idea starter for people who have been contemplating about trying to do something different in their life than what they are normally doing. It doesn't mean that this book is about how to, start something new. But this book is actually, as I said, a thought starter, a thought provoker, and some guidelines or guardrails about how do you go about, chasing something that you really wanted to do without having the fear of failure becoming an obstacle or an impediment. Because one of the biggest challenges is this human fear of failure. And that has stopped humans from achieving many things in life. And I have firsthand seen many people who have given up very interesting and rewarding opportunities because they just simply feared failure. Well, I have mentioned that in the book, but let me tell you in a concise way. So I have had 27 years of very successful career in advertising and marketing. And one fine day, I gave it up and started pursuing something which I've been thinking for a long time of my own ventures, out of which creating a motorcycle touring company, which nobody really has heard of such a concept. So I started that. So I was initially, a lot of people reached out to me and congratulated me, and many of them through that conversations told me that we also wanted to do something different with our life, but somehow we don't get ourselves to do it. And then in that conversations became almost guiding sessions, kind of mentoring sessions. Many people spoke to me, wanted my advice. So I felt that maybe there is a lot of people out there who have similar thoughts and views, but don't get themselves to take an action towards it. So I said, why don't I actually put together or maybe put a blog. It started off as a thought for blog. When I started putting down the points, I realized it has to go beyond the blog. And therefore, I decided that let me publish my thoughts as a book. This book is hugely inspired by motorcycling and the lessons that I learned from motorcycling. And motorcycling is a great analogy in life where you take risk. And so that risk, taking ability or capability is generally not, very encouraged in our society, especially in India. So what I feel is a whole lot of people who want to take risk, but are little, afraid of doing so. As I mentioned, motorcycling, these are lessons that I learned from motorcycling, but it is not just about motorcycling. Cycling should read this book. Yeah, they can read it. But this book is for anyone and everyone who wants to live a life of their choice. Okay, the words are very, very important here. It's not dreams. It is choice, because everyone has dreams, but you don't get to choose it. You don't get to choose a life which is on dreams. Everyone, even if it is a small hobby, or pursuing something on the side, or letting the children be something, a lot of people are restricted by it. So this book is for anyone who believe that there is something that there is inside which they have not been able to express or act upon, and the choices are restricted, restrained, and forgotten. So this book could act as an inspiration, guardrail of how to go about it, and how to keep yourself on track. That is what this book. So it ideally it should make sense to students who are pursuing, or confused saying what career should I take, or or someone who's actually in early stages of their working career, or someone in their midlife, and of course people who have retired also can read this book and go through it and say that, okay, did I make those choices or did I just not act on it? So it could be an interesting book for all walks of life, but ideally this would be for someone who's at a decision point in life. Okay, so it was I wanted to give a title which actually, again, like the book, should provoke some thought. Normally, like you need a license to ride, which is given by government as a form of licensing, you are authorized to ride this two-wheeler or four-wheeler or whatever it is, right? So we are all given a license to ride, and it says, okay, this qualifies you to ride. But we live in a society and the world at large which frowns upon any failure or a fall. Okay, and so first reaction to many people after a fall or to themselves or people around them is, don't do this again. Okay, stop it, because you will fall. So avoid the fall. Don't do it. Don't repeat it. I feel that what if I was given a license to say it's okay to fall? Okay, this license, nobody will question you because you are now licensed to fall. Because in failure, in falling, you will learn the greatest lessons of it. Okay, and I'm not saying that you must fall, but the fact is that don't fear it, because what happens is it's not about the fall. There is no single human being in history or present who's not fallen in some walk of life, right? We all fall. The degree of fall, but most importantly, the reactions of fall varies. Now, how you react to a fall is more important than the fall itself or avoiding the fall. So license to fall is just to tell you that it is okay, but what you do afterwards is going to determine your life trajectory. So it is the lessons from motorcycling which has taught me that falling is not the end of life or end of the journey. So license to fall is about giving people, removing that obstacle or the mental block or a limiting belief about falling. So, though there are close to 10 chapters in the book, I would rather break this thing on three things. And I've spent significant amount of pages or words on the initial part of the book where I addressed this whole thing about comfort zone and the fear of failure. And so it is, the first part of the book is about the psychology of humans regarding avoiding discomfort, avoiding anything that remotely has a chance of falling or failing. So the first takeout of the file would be to say that it is human nature and psychology, so you're not unique on that. And the takeout could be the fact that, I'm not alone in this. Okay. The second part of it is about dealing with the fall itself, in case you fall. Okay, first is you can avoid the fall. Second thing is, in case you fall, the takeout is that, the big takeout is that the reaction to that fall and what you do immediately afterwards is what's going to determine your life. So how to react to it. And last part is that how do you ensure that you continue on your journey further. The takeout would be the fact that there are factors beyond your own control, but you can impact them, right? So how you view the world has a very large way. It impacts your own journey. You're not alone in this world. So the other factors come in. So the third part of the book, or few chapters, is about the fact that while the world exists, while the world has its own dynamics, it's about your own view to that. It's going to shape up your sustained success path. So that would be broadly the three things. So takeouts are largely about facing these uncertainties and facing this, discomfort and getting out of the comfort zone, and reaction to the fall, and finally how to keep yourself sustained on the journey or the road of life. See, I have tried to put it in a systematic purpose. I've actually tried to address the psychology or the blockages that people may face emotionally, mentally, is the first thing. And then I went on to actually give examples about people who have successfully done that, and my own experience from motorcycling and analogies, and eventually giving a little bit of motivation to stay the course. Now, this book, if I would ideally want someone to just read through as in a very dispassionate way, not try and put themselves into each and every situation. Just read it to understand, okay, this is actually the author's point of view. Okay, that is very interesting. But then there would be certain chapters that might resonate with individuals. I'm not saying chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, it's that order of resonating. Maybe chapter 4 resonated the most, and that your life situation and what I mentioned in that chapter deeply resonating, and you find truth in it. What I would recommend is to reread those chapters, whichever chapter, and every place. What I've consciously done is I have not left it at a global advice. I've tried to give concrete steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, which are the steps that you have not done before, you would like to try. So read the book once and go back to those chapters and then start creating notes for yourself and try and put action plans and try and follow through. And come back to this book as saying that, okay, listen, if you tried but didn't really work for you, then maybe have you understood the step well, or have you skipped something? Is there something else connecting with you? So this is not a one-time read book according to me. This is I kept it very short. Resist the temptation of writing and blabbering too much, because I want people to reread this, because it's not a guide, but at the same time it is an inspiration. So if you don't read the book and throw it done reading it, come back to it, because you might discover far more useful things for yourself, maybe on the second and third read, specific to chapter. As I mentioned, I want people not to read it like a storybook or a theory, or how to become successful in 7 steps kind of person. I want the next step is for people to write down a 100-day plan, which is about, okay, these things matter to me. This book inspires me to do so. So let me create a 100-day plan about, okay, I want to start something, or I want to learn a new skill, right? You write it down and actually put 100 days and see what are the steps from this book that you can put it as action around it. So my intent is this: I need to do it in the next 100 days, and this book. So create your own little journal and come back to that and see how you progress on it. So as I mentioned earlier, this is not a book that you read once and absorb everything. It's not that. It's not a breakthrough, new thinking. There are books like Atomic Habits, which clearly have a very interesting core at the bottom of it. So you absorb that core when you have, it stays with you. This book is not that. In this book, it is peppered with very useful things that might resonate with you deeply, which you can practically implement. No human being can implement the entire thing in totality. I'm not written with that intent. There could be some part that resonates with you. So convert that into a 100-day action plan and keep monitoring it. But most importantly, take action towards something that you really had a dream, and convert that into a choice. Not extremely active, but I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I am available on Instagram as Anil Alive. That's my personal handle. I do have my professional handles, which are there in Instagram, which is to do with motorcycling. It's called Goodwind Rider. You can come through that. But I'm normally quite responsive if someone pings me on LinkedIn with anything other than trying to sell me something. So my LinkedIn would be a good way. My Instagram called Anil Alive is also a good way to connect with. Okay, I'm a first-time author. I'm not a writer. I authored this book not because I had writing skills and therefore I had to express myself. I've been a businessman and a professional for all my life. I have been a multiple entrepreneur. I've been a professional. I've sat in very senior posts in very large organizations in the communication and marketing industry. I've also been an entrepreneur in the same industry. So I do understand both sides of the spectrum. Then lately, I've been blessed with the opportunity to do many new things in my life. Some things that I've never done for first, let's say 50 years of my life, I'm doing today. So I'm a I've always been an avid motorcyclist, and I truly love motorcycling and anything to do with motorcycling. I am not technically oriented person when it comes to motorcycling, but I enjoy the feeling that motorcycle riding gives. So therefore, I created a company along with my partner in that space. So a corporate man who is an ad man has been, with God's grace, been very successful in that field. But decided to try something new in the new age businesses. So I have a couple of businesses. I'm in the board of a few companies, very reputed companies like Kalyan Jewelers and Packora and all of that, where my large role is corporate advisor and helping entrepreneurs and businessmen achieve their full potential. I am also an executive director on a business consulting firm where I support a phenomenal organization. It's called Equitor, who's done some really stellar work. And I'm a strategist by nature, and therefore I really can help businesses achieve their outcome. As an executive director, I support my team, bring about that. So I have varied interests, but motorcycling is the core. And this book came out of the fact that motorcycling teaches you a lot. It also gives you experiences. It also gives you exposure. It gives you great connections, because I wouldn't have written this book without the help of many people who have had conversations while on a motorcycle tour or riding. So yes, I can say that I'm not a writer but an author, because I had a point of view and I had to share that with that, and I thought that will help a lot of people.